Hello? This is something I wasn't entirely expecting, because I have closed the music down, basically dialed it down to 0. But I wasn't expecting that to affect the load menu as well.
Come on then, say something
So,
and move on.
Yumi in the silence, well, at least momentarily. Not right now with Imps and the Dreamer here blocking our way yet again. Quite troublesome. Common complaint about doorways in this game, I tell you. And yeah, we'll be getting quests from her in due time, once we can join the Legion. She doesn't even want to tell us about how. Oh, well, guess she got fed up with us and left. So now we get to speak with Dulian, who has not only spells, but spell making. And what kind of spells does she have? Mysticism, detect creature could be useful, cure common disease victim could be useful, swimmer's blessing could be useful. Do we get that? Gosh, I think we're a little, like we can only afford one, maybe two. No, we can't afford any two. No, just the one, jeez. And yeah, at this rate, can't really afford to have any of them, can we? Another day we'll be back. We did just get divine intervention from a legionnaire at the other end of the floor. And yeah, we find ourselves very tired. We can, perhaps, oh, wow. Okay, that'll be something with Code Patch. I don't think you ever see lock levels above 100, but now they've got it to where you can open up to 500 level locks. Maybe that's something with certain mods. I couldn't tell you. And can we afford this? No. No, we only have 350 gold. We're 70 short. 351 versus 421. Oh, moving along. Yeah, they don't. I think they're kind of fed up with someone kicking around in Legion armor who, at least at present, is no longer in the Legion. But here's someone at least from the Imperial cult. Yeah, who's happy to see us. Calls a friend. Could use that right about now. We're quite tired. Bugbag is. Let's see if we can't find anything, some kind of helmet with face covering. Because that, with the Ashfall mod, will help in the face of a blight storm, or an ash storm, which we are very likely to find ourselves in, considering the area, even though we do plan to leave the Aldruin area very shortly and make for Nessus. I wonder if we might not benefit from heading over to Narmak. There was that rumor we heard way back in Seyden of someone's drunken cousin seeing a city off in the water near Narmak somewhere. Could be a good source of treasure, a good way to fund our journey north. And it might be interesting to travel up the coast rather than take the usual road. Even though I should like to see that road, I think we'll see it if we ever head south again. So away we go. We need to find somewhere to make camp. Can't very well stay at the barracks if we're not in the Legion's good graces. This is a nice touch. I don't know. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if it was Ashfall or what, but it might even be in the vanilla game and I just never noticed it. But kicking up the dust like that as you walk through ashy terrain, that's a nice touch. We saw it in Aldruin last episode. And we'll be seeing a lot of it now. But yeah, we are absolutely out of magical. Let's see, Trauma Root. Restores willpower, that's handy. Scathe Crow as well. That is interesting little stuff. I can't remember any of the alchemical effects. I never really remember using it much, like obviously you do Trauma Root for levitation, or at least obvious to those of you familiar with it. It's 9 p.m. Maybe we have just enough time to get some bittergreen petals before we drop off for the night and some more Scathecraw. Yeah, we're a bit chilly, so we might want to start a fire soon. Get off to the side of the road, in case of any midnight caravans or what have you. Don't need them running through and picking over our stuff. Don't need to carry too much stuff with us at present, apart from what Bugbag can carry on his person. We have the Ghost Fence. Our first look at the Ghost Fence before Bugbag even really knows what it is. Let's see, let's lay down our bedroll. and remove the kettle. And let's try adding the cooking pot. Why don't we? Come on. Yeah. Add water. Might as well empty that out. And add a little more water. Or no, maybe just some ingredients. Okay. Yeah, some of the rat meat. Is it just me, or did that add 100% meat where it didn't before? Maybe it's by weight? Maybe you just have to add a pound? I don't know, that's a mystery to me. In which case, maybe I should try it with like the different weights of mushrooms? Huh. No, 100% mushroom. Please don't tell me I added in all 12. Let's just add a bit more stew, help thin it out. A bit more water to the stew, rather, excuse me. Nope, it's 1 and 1. Okay. And add some more mushroom. Some bungler's bane just for a little flavor. Some more meat. Oh, bother. Guess our first taste of trauma root will be burnt. Survival skills increased. That is a nice little boost to endurance, which sadly we won't be taking advantage of. Should I chuck this out or just munch on it? Doesn't provide near as much nutrition as I'd hoped, but at least the meat will see us through. And should we add some more meat to the stew just for the benefit? Decisions. Do we want to blow our Quamacuttle on that? Really is what it comes down to. Or do we get, maybe we get a bit of the chunky benefit from this? Let's find out. Oh, the hearty benefit, right? We do get a bit of it. And we can fill the red ware pot. Happy days, happy days. We now have a way to carry our stew with us. We don't get as much of the fortify health effect, but we do get some. And that vase was a bit of a waste. Yeah, let's remove the grill, poke it over with a stick, wait for it to cool, pick it up again, you know the deal. And, rest. We could rest until healed. That took quite a long time, in fact. And we're thirsty enough that it's now damping down our magicka anyway. So let's get in. Where's that scathe crop tea? No, I guess we'll just have water to stay hydrated, even though we're in the midst of a blight star. That might have been a good look, but alas. Let's keep going. Because we're a little hungry. Yeah, okay. So we have some of the stew now. Good breakfast. Again, it does hydrate you as well. But, yeah, get a little firewood, recoup our considerable loss in firewood stocks from last night. And just run on back to the fort. See, we already picked these roots. See if we can't find some way, maybe around the fort and back to town, because it occurs to me there's a whole Blades trainer in town, Gildon, who we forgot to talk to. So I think we're going to have to end around, maybe see if we can't fill in that blank cell while we're at it. Just to be a bit of a stickler about, trying to get that on our map. Used to do that in World of Warcraft too back in the day. I played until about when Lich King dropped. I played from about when Burning Crusade released to when Lich King dropped. And, yeah, it was fun times. And I would used to go around and just try and go around and fill in as much of the map I could. And just sneak about and do it. Somehow we find ourselves comfortable in the Ashlands despite the rat trying to chase us. This is an interesting new dynamic we'll find ourselves in, especially once we get into the water, because without the music, we also don't have battle music, which means it becomes a bit more, in my estimation, realistic in the sense that, sometimes you might not know if something is sneaking up behind you, depending upon how attuned you are with that sort of thing, until, say, the rat bites your heel or something. Yeah, and we've already done, I believe we've done all the work, for getting back in us around us and stuff. But yeah, we found ourselves needing to see Gul'dan. We have yet to find Shore of Horsemouth. We've yet to revisit Elone. Elone? Ilona? That scout in Sadaneed, who it turns out was a blade all along. So somehow she knew, or maybe it was just, a helpful sort of lady to give the directions to Balmora. And we find ourselves in a very odd confluence of weather. I don't know if this is to do with the seasonal weather mod, but a morning rainstorm giving way to ash once again. Our momentary reprieve from the blight is gone. Bother. We really need to find a helm with a face cover. And no sense running into the wind. We've already run about too much from the fort to town. Let's see, what else can we do besides find a Gul'dan? Let's see, I know from past experience her hut is somewhere around here, so let's just say we're looking house to house. We already know the stuff around the alleys around us, we already know where the guilds are at, but Gul'dan, is right here. So she is a fellow blade and a Bosmer. I forgot. I keep forgetting to visit her, even though early days I used to because I really liked the idea of a Nightblade. So, yeah, her trade, very, very cool. It still appeals to me. Even though I'm playing a spell sword now, very different playstyle. Almost kind of an opposite playstyle, between magic supplementing stealth versus magic supplementing combat. And interesting, so keeping tabs on Redderons, conflicts with Hlaalu and Telvanni. Although it's interesting because there are no Blades trainers. Maybe there are Blades, but there are no Blades trainers. Go see Wayne at the Balmora Guild Fighters. So, if you're into short blade and not necessarily into honor, as Nightblades tend to be, then Gul'dan's advice comes in handy. Her training comes in handy, certainly for alteration and, in our case, mysticism, for soul trapping, absorbing health in due time, even though that's not a very spell swordy thing, is it? It's not in the major minor skills. So it's implied it's not, like it's more of a spell sword thing to go kaboom with fire and frost and stuff, rather than to absorb surreptitiously. But we'll be doing a fair bit of mysticism in our time. And let's see, we still have 3 more until we get a 5 bonus to speed. I'm not trying to metagame this too much. I'm trying to start to do some RP. But even when I do, I never used to do this type of stuff, but, get a bit older and I guess less of a stick in the mud, where I used to just insist on kind of the natty gains sort of thing. It's like, I'll take whatever bonuses I get just from playing however I play, in between level ups, and wind up with a character with terrible endurance, because I underestimated the need for it. That character Hergul I mentioned last episode, that Altmer Nightblade-ish character, wrecking everything in Vvardenfell, everything in Blood Moon. Tribunal? No. Goblins? Bam. Gone. Done. Werewolves as well. I think I did werewolves with him, just for kicks, and yeah, it was a whole different playstyle demanded of me. Properly kind of using stealth, really, to be able to get around and survive, and not get one-shot, because as strong as werewolves can be, if you're at a low level and you're a werewolf yourself, you find yourself being pretty frail. Let's see. We're not really going to be using the gold guide. I mean, I think flashing through my head it was tempting, just because of the Blightstorm. But then I remembered kind of my commitment. Can't really go back to Caldera, even though we did forget about, we met Saran, but we didn't meet Shorvar. So we'll have to try again another day. Yeah, we made it there by foot. We will commit to traveling by foot except in cases like this with ash storms, and we can use divine intervention to get around. We have to remain committed to the RP of the friendliest orcish camping enthusiast you'll ever meet. You know, who loves the Empire for whatever reason, and who, you know, just loves being in the Legion, you know, even though he doesn't work too hard for them. You know, no sense stressing yourself out, you know, just go about your day, live life. I mean, no one, when you get to a Legion fort, they never really seem to leave the Legion fort, do they? I mean, you hear about from time to time, oh, we sent a party out here, a party out there, people to go and attack this cave or whatnot. But you never meet them. You know, occasionally you meet people from the great houses going to, you know, get a job done or whatever, but you never meet just random Imperials somewhere. Maybe if it's part of a quest, but other than that, you know, part of like an ebony or glass mine, or you know, or where the twain do meet, a quest in an ebony or glass mine. There you meet random Imperials, but that's it. Anyway, that whole business was about thinking, oh, should I borrow armorer's hammers, and then realizing, oh wait, I can't really use armorer's hammers, not on the road. Gotta go back to town, find an anvil or a forge. You know what could be handy, actually, is to mod a portable anvil. But then how much would that have to weigh? At least it would be something to use repair hammers on, get a fire going, somehow enclose it to make it a proper forge, and then use the repair hammer. We've got some potions of Cure Blight, which we could use in a pinch. We have scrolls of Cure Common Disease, which weigh less, but are worth a lot more. Which is why I usually carry around the potions, but we are a bit concerned about our carry weight. Let's see, this looks like it might have some face covering. Shall we try it? I think there's a netch leather helm out there that does have face covering, but it's light armor. Still, what can we use to get around in this storm? My goodness. I mean, apart from divine intervention, because that's taken us as far as it will go. Maybe downstairs they have something? Oh, we can. I need to speak to Yambogor, who has the same helm I've already got, tools I can't use, same shield cuirass I've already got, weapons. I mean, I do hope to get an Imperial broadsword someday, but right now Icicle will serve our needs quite well until we can enchant our own blade, in case we run across any foul beasties that resist normal weapons entirely, and many do. The ghosts, the Daedra.
Let's hear it.
You know, all the worst of the worst, normal weapons just can't hit them. Let's see. Guess I'll trade it for the vase. Try out this helmet. If we have to sell it back, it'll be at a loss, alas. Can't really do much with these potions, but yeah, at least selling the vase will defray the cost a bit. And anything else you might need that's got stew in. Maybe we can use the pitcher to hold more stew, or how much stew are we really going to need to carry, though? I mean, that weighs 8, okay. I mean, assume they just have caps or corks or something in, you know. But do we really need that? Maybe, shucks. Let's see, so let me do the math. 3 flasks weigh 9 and carry 240. 1 pitcher weighs 8 and carries 200. Maybe it could serve as a good replacement. This netch leather helm certainly doesn't. My face is not covered. It looks like I have a bad haircut. I don't like this. Give me back my nice Imperial gear. Sell back this native junk. At a loss. But, you know, only a loss of 2 gold. It's like driving a car right off the lot, you know, and it immediately loses 10 grand. That's what that felt like right there. Jeez. So I guess we'll either have to wait it out or tough it out. And make for the coast. And it looks like we're going to tough it out. Well, what time is it? I think if we head, maybe it's roughly due west that we'll get to Narmak in pretty good time. It's noon. You wouldn't know it to look for wherever the sun is. Oh, Cliff Racer. Let's see if we can't. I should probably shut off the crosshair, because you wouldn't see a crosshair, if you were someone walking around in the world. And it is misleading me as to where my spells go. Because I'm so accustomed to playing marksman. Let's see. Almost cast Divine Intervention there by mistake, jeez. And, yep, that worked. Okay. Can we get it again? No. I guess Icicle will do the trick. And, nice block. Nice save. Let's get Firebite in there. Frostbite is the same magical cost, so might as well do Fire and take him out. And Racer Plumes. We have enough to make a Levitate potion now. But do we want to sit down and do alchemy on a hot day? It's taking out some of our endurance after all. Which reduces your maximum fatigue at the very least. Quite inconvenient. It makes more sense on a hot day. Get a little tired. Might as well take our shirt off under this armor. Yeah, see if it doesn't help us cool off some. Nope, away we go. It's still so hot out here. There is one thing. I was doing a recent playtest off camera, and one of my characters was freezing, and so I've shut off the red hitbox. Again, just because it's A, less realistic, and B, has a tendency to glitch out. But then the freezing thing has its own sort of light blue hitbox. Very well done, in terms of the angles and the effect and the color and everything that Murlord put in, except I don't know how to disable it. Maybe I should reach out to the guy, because it's been quite helpful. And at the very least quite helpful in terms of making such lovely immersive mods in the first place. But, yeah, I could see it, if you want it there, just as a way, to get some visual indication of the player of your status. But as you can see right now, with battle music, all music really turned off, I don't think we're that concerned about being the player so much as, just having something, having an experience that makes sense. And I guess it makes, well, it does actually make perfect sense that this side of the mountain should be so green, because it's the windward side. The other side is the leeward side, therefore drier, less lush, kind of like Eastern Oregon, I suppose, or Eastern Washington. Yeah, I wouldn't expect desert and pretty much rainforest to be that close together, but that's what mountains do. So it makes perfect sense. And yeah, get some chokeweed, crash fiber. And that's a weird rock. Get that sometimes. Just kind of, I guess, poking up from the earth. Where the earth is, kind of getting blown away, dug out, receded, washed away. It's a pretty cool lookout, mate. Because it's kind of like it's the thing with old school video games, I guess. Where your imagination just kind of takes over and fills in a lot of the blanks. But having played this for 20 years, it's like these two, like the Venn diagram has become a circle, basically, between imagination and what we see. We've made our way back to Caldera. So let's see if we can't get ourselves over to Shore of our Horsemouth or see whatever we see first. We are running basically to get our speed up. The road is pretty safe. We just traveled it after all. And I know, or have a pretty decent hunch, that again, he ought to be due northeast of Caldera and due southwest. Due northwest of Caldera and due southwest of Eldrune. You start to see why a lot of the quest givers famously in Morrowind get their east and their west mixed up. Let's see, which one is my left hand? Jeez. Okay, and around we go. Let's see if we can't find maybe something to eat, maybe some sort of shoulder. Because I know he's kind of off the beaten path. Or at least off the path I usually find myself on. A little root brush, that'll be good for tea too. Somewhere or other. Let's try making a little. Then sit down, make some potions. Chokeweed will get us restore fatigue. So what else will we have? Root brush. Nope, that's not restore fatigue. What else can we do? Gold Canet and stone flowers ought to provide us with restore strength, which will be very handy, but alas, we drain our luck in the process, and we don't have our alembic to reduce the negative effects, which is unfortunate. I think at least stone petals have restore strength as a first effect, so if you munch on them, chew on them a little, and your alchemy skill is high enough, you'll get a teensy bit of restore strength, and more with more alchemy skill. You know, that you wouldn't even need a potion, you'll just need to keep a pocket full of lovely blue flowers, which we already do in that bouquet. I wonder, because the bouquet as a trinket in Ashfall restores fatigue, do stone flowers have any restore fatigue effect? I should try that sometime, or at least wait until Bugbag's alchemy gets to 60 or over. Alchemy is fun. That way, I know for a fact, leads to the mine. And so, at the very least, we can say, okay, why would Shorvar have a hut? Like, we gotta keep looking due west, even though we're headed due south right now. That's to get to the west of Caldera. So maybe, rather than head into the pass, we can head up the spine here, up the ridge, and see that it is indeed the mine. That it is not Shorvar Horsemath's hut, or if it is, it would be quite a hut. But it is not. It's not. So we'll just keep moving along the ridge, see if we can't get some kind of vantage point to get a handle on where this guy is, for goodness sake. Do we have levitate? We don't have levitate. It must have been too broke when we were in Balmora. I usually get it from our Dren. Oh well. And we still only have 337 gold now. We're still looking due west of Caldera. And I think we'll wind up dehydrated before too long. If we don't, yep. Just to get a little drink once we're done glissading down this hill. What do we see here? We see a cave, Kudanat. We see firewood. Yes, thank you. We see a cat walking around the table. Don't nibble on that pop filter, cat. It took me a little too long to get anyhow. Do we want to poke in? Do we want to just carry on our merry way? Or not so merry way again. You see, Bugbag is not in a skipping mood once again. And he's comfortable, but a little thirsty. And, oh, come on, friend. Instead, he's chewing on the charger cord as he does, which is unfortunate. And more firewood. Let's see if we run into any crazy critters. It's been awful quiet, even being off-road like this. Nope, spoke too soon. Let's see, maybe we can get a... Nope. Okay. That's the trouble with the erratic motion on these cliff racers sometimes. You know, it's impossible to lead the target. They'll just start this way and that, as they please. And, yeah, so I've heard the term, oh, you know, as the cliff racer flies. Well, the cliff racer doesn't hardly ever fly in a straight line. So let's see if we can't boost our destruction in a bit. Let's see if... Oh! Yeah, maybe just a little... Why waste 6 magicka? Or why waste a weapon charge on just getting, what, the last 1 or 2 HP? There's got to be a better way than HP. I was kind of marinating on this a few days ago. there's got to be a better way than HP to measure health. Because, you know, a normal person, I mean, yeah, you have armor and stuff. But even a strong enough blow against heavy armor, I've heard, you know, provides a sort of shock trauma. You know, where basically the force of the blow, you know, affects you internally. Where, yeah, it might not break the skin necessarily, but underneath the skin, it's still a heavy impact that just kind of reverberates like a sound wave within you. So, you know, be that as it may, you know, yeah, you might be in one piece on the outside, but on the inside you'll have been hit by a truck. So it's tough to get realistic combat, you know, to the point where, yeah, an unarmored person, you know, realistically should be taken out by just enough pokes of the sword, or certainly, you know, enough lucky shots with the axe. You know, and charging up the attack isn't necessarily just a matter of time, is it? It's mostly, yeah, once you get sufficient force, of course, but then where do you land the blow? But, you know, this isn't that complicated, at least not at a glance. Again, as I've heard it said before about Morrowind's combat system, and as I was saying, not even 10 minutes ago, I believe, you know, it comes down to imagination. It comes down to thinking, oh, you know, my blow didn't land, even though it looks like I hit them. They must have dodged, you know, in quote-unquote the reality of the game. Vice versa, that I must have dodged due to higher agility and so on and so forth. Why is Bugbag's agility 42? I mean, I'll know it's from an Ashfall buff, but which one? I don't think we look to see, because we find ourselves on a wooden bridge, getting faster and faster, you know, as time goes on, and not even really stopping for mushrooms at this point, because we have ample quantities of this type of mushroom. We've been through this type of country before. There ought to be a tree stump with some gold or a fancy blade in it or something somewhere. But I find that hard to find without UESP. So if I happen across it, fine. If not, that's what it's like, you know. Bugbag's just kind of down on his luck right now as it is. So that would be perfectly in character not to find such a nice bit of comb up there. And it's only really, you know, so nice if you sell it to Creeper. Those little glass daggers and whatnot, where you get the full 4,900 just shy of his 5,000 gold. You know, it gives you a little breathing room to sell maybe another little amulet or ring or whatever you happen to have across. And even with Creeper being an NPC, at least in vanilla, you know, you could get reliably, say, within 4970 or 4960, and get max sale for it anyway, so you get an extra free 30 or 40 gold for your trouble, on a pretty regular basis. Again, that's what I did with Shock. Even though we passed through Caldera and went back again, I don't know that we'll be visiting Creeper much. I mean, has Bugbag seen Gorak Manor? Surely he would recognize an orcish name, but does that mean he'll want to visit? At some level, I would assume so. But I think he's more interested in being back in the Legion than being among his fellow orcs. You know, because there's plenty of orc soldiery, as we'll see. You know, so those are the type of orcs he wants to hang around with. And the manor, maybe they are civilized. You know, maybe they are good, refined imperial citizens. We'll have to wait and see. You know, I mean, I doubt there will be like shirtless dudes and, you know, weapons strewn about and stuff, and books laying askew on shelves. You know, I mean, that wouldn't be befitting a manor, now would it? You know, wouldn't be worthy of the name. But we'll see what it's like in due time. Yeah, it sure is. Oh. Breeding niche. Well, let's see if we can find them. We might do ourselves some good to head north and find these breeding niche and kill them before we set up camp or afterwards. If we happen upon them, great. If not, that'll have to do, because what we're really here for, now that we've made our way to Narmak, is see if we can't see that city in the water. And let's see, guild. If we're guild, well, we're Mage's Guild, so maybe this is the place. Drujigger's Rest, or which one was it? Nadine Rothran Shack. Okay. Interesting. Oh, none of them look to be Nadine Rothran. What did they barter? Arrows, an iron shield, torches. Okay. And what do you have on offer? Books, ceremony sermons, doors of the spirit. Oh, they come on a tongue. Wow. Okay. Had to step away for a moment. And attend to the cats there. Even though we'll be stopping in just a few minutes. I think we're approaching a natural cutoff point. Because I think we'll want to head north, see if we can't find those breeding netch, see if we can't make camp for the night since it's already evening. But even though we'll not be taking fast travel, let's see what we could have won if we were doing so we can go Cloud and Cull. And going to Cull would save us a fair bit of time, wouldn't it? But alas, that is not for us. That is not for us. It's funny, not doing this live. I have to watch myself play on VLC, and now with, I don't know how many of you will be aware, again dating this episode, again of the recent hubbub over Audacity, but now it's friendship ended with Audacity. WavePad, I sprung for WavePad as my new friend. So I have to start and stop each one. Which is why I'm always a second off, and then OpenShot doesn't seem to do me many favors. I sounded awfully high-pitched during one of these intros, and if you're listening closely to that episode, whichever one it was, the music sped up as well. So at some point I think the whole thing somehow got sped up in, maybe it was OpenShot, maybe it was YouTube's processing. I'm more apt to blame YouTube, frankly, just because why not? I have no evidence one way or the other, so I'll blame who I want to. Not to insult the people, giving me this platform, but that seems to be a fun thing to do on this website. And, yeah, Officer of the Imperial Law, spoke about here, Arena Manor. Oh, okay. Guess I won't be stealing any food from the Lalu today. Or getting much training, since I can't very well afford it. But Longblade Athletics and Block, okay. I think we're getting onto a pretty good stopping point as we head out of town to make camp. I don't think we found a place to rent a room if we wanted one, so for now, let me just get on to my usual outro, with Bugbag being tired. Let me just thank you for watching and bid you farewell.